Necrotic Flesh Bacteria is the third full-length album from German death doom metal band Cryptic Brood. When I say death doom metal, I certainly mean something closer to Metal Funeral era Autopsy, in the sense that they blend traditional doom metal riffs with classic death metal sounds and lean into it in both regards. In the past, they've been more grinding. They've had a more esoteric sound in terms of production. They've been noisier and more confrontational in different ways. But I feel like this album in particular brings, it kind of reins in a lot of the noisy grinding influences of the band and focuses more on doom metal riffs, and great ones. I think this is a great continuation of what they did on their second album. It's a solid continuation of their sound overall, and it's a refinement which doesn't take them out of the underground. And I think it's where they belong. It's where they fit best. And well, before I get carried away here, let's listen to a song, and I'll talk a little bit more about my history with the band and how I see their music. So when this band came out with Brain Eater back in 2017, I think it was on Extreme Music, and it was a little bit frayed. It was a little bit homebrewed. It was crazed. It sounded like a very early death metal sound, but almost frantic on the level of like Acts of the Unspeakable. But they also had doom metal riffs and traditional ones that would show up here and there to slow things down. I don't know that I was fully on board with the band's sound until Outcomes of Obnoxious Science released. I feel like the appeal of the band stretched more beyond dirty old school sounds into something that really did capture what I described as the tension of the first Penance album, The Road Less Traveled, and like a record like Blood's O Agios Pathane, where it's like Autopsy but also grind at the same time. And that's a little bit of an exaggeration of their rhythmic prowess in some sense, but also a pretty direct representation of the way that the dynamic of that record played out. What they've done here with this third one is expand upon that sound, bring in like just cleaner production values so that you can hear every element. I think as a trio, they've never sounded tighter. They sound so practiced and just right on the money here on every take. It emphasizes the compositional strength and breakthrough that happens on this record. Now, you could say this band is just doing what they've always done, and they're just, they're just writing better songs, and I think that would be fair. I think there's like a Greg Ginn level of dementia that's written into these rhythms. There's a sway of them that is sludgy and different and classic in every sense. Otherwise, it feels like this really is dug up from the late 80s, like 1989, 91. And really the best way to sum that up is maybe something that's a little bit more Hellhammer influenced, something like Sempiternal Death Rain, where there's maybe a little bit of thrash in the way that they presented themselves, but really it was a doom metal album written by a death metal band. And I feel like that's kind of what this is. If you're a fan of the actual riffs that came out of doom metal in the 80s and the early 90s, you'll understand why this is a special record right away. It will take one or two songs before you hit upon those staggered, tension-built songs that are broken-necked and ancient in their feeling. And I love the way that this record kind of shambles through its general movement. For me, it's kind of an awesome record. It was one of my favorites of November in general. I think this is just a fantastic death metal band overall, but they do death doom metal in a way that is not so reliant on atmosphere as much as actual composition, and I think they're a cut above most anything else in this regard right now, in terms of just they're only writing better songs with each record. They're not dumbing it down. They're getting better at what they're doing, and in this way I feel like this is a peak for the band. This is a very strong peak for the band. It's probably their best record overall, and really worth getting behind, because they're one of the best death doom metal bands out there, in the sense that if you're a fan of classic doom metal and you're a fan of classic death metal, this band has fused those things in a way that you probably haven't heard since maybe the mid 90s at best. Check it out for yourself. This is a very high recommendation for me. As I said, one of the best records of November. And go ahead and read my review if you'd like more of my thoughts in depth on why this is just a fantastic record.
Passion!